Alright, hello everyone, welcome to my third match for the 11th season of the Dominion League. This recording is done after the game, mostly because, my aunt came and interrupted the live recording, so I had to do this over after this game was completed. So I'll just try to share some of my thoughts as much as I could remember them. So I looked at the board and I saw that it was Seahag with no trashing, and there was Moat to be able to block it, but I was unsure of the role of Moat at all. I didn't know if I wanted any whatsoever. I took note of Smugglers, which is generally a useful card all in all. So my initial expectations or ideas here was, well, there's definitely some potential to build an engine. There's Labs, there's Fishing Village and Margrave, so you can get your draw up and going. On the other hand, there's no trashing and there is a cursor. So I guess the idea was to still try to build it as best as possible, the engine that is. So I was thinking about what to open here, and I considered, all the four relevant options. I think Moat, Fishing Village, Smugglers, and Silver. And I really didn't want to open with the Moat, because again, like I said, I wasn't sure of the role that Moat would play in this game. I know I wanted money to get up to 5, to get either Lab or Margrave. Probably Margrave, because Margrave would draw a little bit more, even in spite of Tunnel being around. So I eventually decided on Fishing Village as a kind of middle ground play. Gives me a little bit of money. And then the $4 hand was obviously a Seahag. And then I saw my opponent pick up a Moat, so now I started to think, and seeing him block this attack made me think even more, because I didn't want this game to end up so that I was on the losing end of the curse split, because that would just be very, very bad for me. There was no way to get rid of the curses, and the more curses that are put into your deck is the worse it becomes. Well, I guess that's true all the time, but it's especially bad in this game because there's no way to get rid of the curses. So I still didn't get Moat. I decided to get Smugglers instead, because I figured he would be buying Moat, so I could maybe nick 1 or 2 off of him. And he gets a second Moat, and this really prompts me to buy Moat at this point in time, because I don't want my Seahag to keep getting blocked while I receive curses on the other end. So I decided to start buying Moats in an attempt to stem the flow of curses, and it worked the first time around, which is fortunate. And I get to put a curse in him, which is... Oh, actually, that doesn't happen this turn. My mistake. He blocked that one. He had a Moat in hand there. So the game went on in this fashion for some time. Played Smugglers there to get a Lab off his $5 hand, which was very timely for Smugglers to show up. He ended up with another $5 hand here, so more Labs for him. I would have taken Margrave again, because like I said at the beginning of the game, because it draws a little bit more than Lab, and there's a Fishing Village on the board, and that is an abundance of plus action. So no curses have been distributed yet, even though the Seahag has been played quite a number of times. So our motes have been doing work. Here I decide not to trigger the shuffle with the mote, because then I would not be defended in the next shuffle, and here is where I get to put a curse in his deck. So I didn't trigger the shuffle to leave the two motes in my deck for this shuffle, and maybe they would be able to block some of the attacks from Seahag. And what ended up happening during the middle of this game is that I ended up going for a lot of fishing villages, partly because I had some motes and they would need the actions to draw, and also partly because I was eyeing up getting Margraves, and I also knew that me getting fishing villages meant that my opponent wouldn't have fishing villages. The less actions that he has, the less options he has. In terms of building an engine, he would have to go for a more money type strategy, which I felt I could come out on top of with my engine type strategy. So I preferred fishing village for quite some time until the pile ran out, and I ended up with the lion's share of them, definitely. And then from this point on, I tried to build up my draw. So on $7 here, you'd see me buy a Margrave, and it was just about building up draw. I was cognizant of piles emptying, so fishing village has been emptied. Moat was left at 1, and well, the curses didn't seem like they were going to run anytime soon, especially with the amount of moats in our decks. But it's still good to keep an eye on them. Another reason for the Margrave is that it gives plus buy. So it draws more and it gives plus buy, which is why I was looking at it from the beginning here. Here I was thinking whether or not to trigger the shuffle, because it would mean that 3 moats plus 2 fishing villages would skip the shuffle. So previously I decided against triggering the shuffle, but this time I decided to trigger it because there were some number of good cards in my deck. I could get a lab, I could get smugglers maybe. I could find the Margrave that I just bought. So I decided to take the chance, but it didn't give me anything more than some coppers. And on $8 here I was considering Province, but it didn't seem like it was the right play to make at all, because there were still so many curses and you're still not able to draw your deck as well as you could on this board. So $8 meant Margrave number 2 for me. He gets to hit me with a curse finally. I think that is my first curse, and he comes up with $5. He has been buying labs on $5 instead of Margraves, which I think is, well, you could still get a Margrave maybe, but he was limited on the action, so I think lab was the right thing for him to get. And hopefully with some luck I could find my smugglers and get the labs, so that would further supplement my draw and make my deck very strong. So I knew he had the moat there, so I chose not to play the Seahag, just to keep him guessing as to where my Seahag might be. And so I purchased gold on that turn because I thought that I might be running low on actions after the 2 Margraves, the Seahag smugglers, and the amount of moats that I had in my deck. So I didn't think I was able to support any more terminals, so I decided to turn for gold. And another maybe small, maybe insignificant reason was that the lab pile, I expected the lab pile to go down, even if it's just one lab buy from him per turn. because he was getting labs even from very early. And with my smugglers, the pile would probably go down even quicker. So here I have a decision. I have $9. Have some decisions. $9 on 2 buys, but I chose just to go for province because I didn't think it was worth it to build anymore. It may be right, it may be wrong. Like, I could have considered gold, silver there, and then look to green next turn. But I chose province. This was a lucky turn for me. I had 4 fishing villages in play and 4 coppers. So I ended up with a second province here. So the game quickly turned over into a rush for points. So he picks up tunnel here, and I was a little bit surprised at first, but then it occurred to me why he probably did it, and it was to get some benefit out of a Margrave attack, I feel. So here we play the moat because he already blocked Margrave's attack, means he can block Sea Hag's attack, hoping to find money. Instead we draw 2 draw cards dead, which is not good at all. So here I was stuck with just $6 and 2 buys, so I had some things to think about. There was lab, there was double tunnel, there was duchy. I didn't want the tunnels because, yeah, I felt like the only victory cards I wanted to buy right now was province, because I felt like my deck could turn over one more time. I could get to one more shuffle and then look to buy the smaller victory point cards with 5 provinces in play still. So because I thought that I could make it back around at least one more time, I decided to buy a second gold. He comes up with a second province, and now his tunnel buy looks a lot more influential, because it is giving him a small lead right now. And still here I'm hesitant to buy tunnel because I still believe I could make it back around in time. I considered feast here to get duchy later, but I just decided to add a silver as some kind of money to get back to in the end. And he gets 8 here and I have 8 in my hand, so rarely that tunnel from him early on in my shuffle seems to be very influential at this point. And he also buys the province on my smuggler's turn, which makes smugglers dead. So here we are at the shuffle that I thought I can make, and I did make it, with 2 provinces left in the pile though. He buys a tunnel on his last turn, allowing me to smuggle the tunnel and buy a duchy with the money that I have. So that'll give me a small lead at the moment. Makes buying province less enticing to him. He drops a second curse into my deck, and I think that levels the score. So it's very close right now, and I try to drop a curse in his deck. It doesn't work out. Now is definitely time to buy tunnel, so I take one to go up by 2 points, and he plays a couple labs, gets some fishing villages down, a moat, and he comes up with $4 for a tunnel. So here I just draw through, not much going on, come up with $7. And, well, not 8, right? So buy duchy. I bought the duchy, and it's on this hand here. I think he comes up with quite a good turn and gets the province. So I mean, my turn didn't look okay at this point, but after playing like Margrave, I knew I had the game by buying the last province. I just played through till the end just to see how much points I could get out of the turn. He let Margrave go through the second time here. I guess his hand wasn't good, so he tried to see what Margrave would give him. He blocked it the first time though, but it didn't matter because I had enough money for province and double tunnel at the end here. So that was the end of the first game, which I won, and that's all there is to say about it, I think.